Hey Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. You may notice we are already zoomed in. That's because this is a little fella. This is a 3 3/4 inch O-ring figure, a Delta-17 Red Okami Elite Sentry. That was a JoeFest exclusive, and I was delighted to be live in person at JoeFest to buy this figure from the Delta-17 guys, friends of the show, Ken and Steve. This was the first thing I bought at the show. It was the first biggest must-have. I had to go to their booth. I got a scoop on a new Delta-17, I will say Wave 1.5 product that you're going to have to check out my JoeFest preview video to see what I'm talking about there. Or if you check out the newest episode of Audible Interlude, I believe we'll be talking about that there as well. But I wanted to review this guy. I absolutely love these Delta-17 figures. We are in a magical time of just incredible O-ring products right now. It's all fun, and I love them all, but I do have to say, I think Delta-17 is the tip top. Look at that. Look at that little tray in there. Oh man, what? I did not recognize how clever this packaging was. So, you know, we see these kinds of cases all the time. This is what, very often this is what used vintage Joes come in. You see them at toy shows. But this is a branded Delta-17 case. Of course, the sticker's on there. But then when you get inside, everything is loaded onto the figure. There's a tray to hold the figure in place, and then the stand is underneath. This is deceptively simple packaging. A lot of thought and effort went into making this practical, and I really, really appreciate it. And it is a resealable box, technically. Okay, so the battle stand, very, very simple. Delta-17 logo on it, nice glossy plastic. We'll take a look at how that interacts with the figure in a minute. Figure itself, again, all the accessories loaded onto the figure. We're going to pull that backpack off so we can take a closer look at the figure itself. This is a different colorway of the Okami that was released as part of the first wave. And you can see the sculpted detail on here. Well, the sculpted and painted detail. Look at the armor plating on the chest. And on the back here. This gloss, this is what I'm talking about. Well, first of all, let's take a look, make a little comparison here. So this is 4 inches tall with the antenna. And if you want to see, I happen to have a Joe figure sitting over here that I will be reviewing soon on audiblearmy.com. But we've got backstop here. If you want a little comparison for proportions, height, and everything else, there you go. That's how a Delta-17 stands next to a Joe. And I mentioned that gloss, and look at how finish-wise these match. And that's one of the reasons I say Delta-17 is producing the best O-ring stuff right now. It's all good. Everything I've gotten my hands on is good, but Delta-17, they just are really killing it as far as the aesthetics, the proportions, everything. You do have swivel wrists that are removable, or the hands are removable. One of the things that people noted about the first wave is that they didn't quite sit. Ken told me that the T-bar issue has been addressed, and now they can sit at more of a 90-degree angle, so they'll work with your vehicles a little bit better. And I highly recommend you check out my JoeFest preview video because we do talk to Ken and Steve, and they drop a lot of interesting nuggets there. Just a beautifully detailed figure. Again, this armor, I love this. detail. I'm going to say it 1,000 times during this video, but it's because it's so impressive. Because somehow all of that fine detail on this figure, the stars, the size, the armor plates, everything about it, but it still feels very authentic to the Joe Ring style. We'll be talking to Matthew LaCroix on an episode of a new show here very, very soon. And that's a topic that I briefly got to ask him about at JoeFest, of how do you get just the right level of detail? Because if there's too much, or if it's done too sharply, it doesn't feel authentic to the format of the O-ring figures. But then if it's too mushy or there's not enough, that also doesn't seem right. Look at the shape of that boot. Just an awesome specialty troop builder figure. So let's take a look at the accessories now. As you can see, everything is in this one backpack. But there is more to this backpack than meets the eye, as they might say. You've got a couple of blades here that are interchangeable with those hands. So you've got one look there, one battle option. And those hands, when they are not in use, can be stored on the backpack. When we interviewed the Delta-17 guys, I think it was last year on Audible Interlude, they made a point that it was very important to them that everything be stored on the figure as much as possible. So can that go with the hands on? Can that still? Yes. And this can be held as a regular, we're going to say blaster rifle, because that's what we do here, or it can be mounted on one of those wrist pegs. You notice the two standard style swords. Well, those, their storage pops off and can be put on the figure just with that piece, or as part of this backpack piece. Just unbelievable, the thought that went into the design of these figures and just making them fun. Like, all of this kind of stuff, I would have had so much fun fidgeting around with these things when I was a kid. This is a figure I never would have put down. It would have been on every mission. Let's do a little, just so you can see here how that can be used standard style or plugged into the wrist. But these would have been used on every mission. They would have been one of the biggest threats to whichever side they were opposing. I mean, this is just an incredible... Let's put everything back in so you can see it. I love reviewing toys because thinking about the functionality, the design, everything is so much fun. To look at it through the creator's eyes and see, man, how much thought they put into all of these pieces being stored on the figure, the functionality of it, the interchangeability, like everything. It's so wonderful to me to be able to sort of look into a designer's mind like that. I talk about toys as art all the time, and this is absolutely a piece of art. Check out Delta-17. Yeah, we're all adults. We know how to use Google. Delta-17 is on Instagram. Give them a look. I think it's just Delta-7. It's either Delta-17 or Delta-17 Toys. Guys, put the website on your packaging. But you know how to look stuff up. You can find it, and I highly recommend you buy some of these figures. Get them in hand, see what you think. They're fantastic. Oh, and the peg size. This is, if you can see, standard G.I. Joe Real American Hero peg size. So that is the Red Okami Troop Builder Elite Sentry. Beautiful figure. I'm thrilled to have it. I wish I had more, but you know, you just can't buy everything. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things, and until next time, buy what you like.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.